Peace, blessings, and a whole lot of love. God is hot day in the house. So, we're going to talk about fear. When I moved out here in 2004, I had four children. It- Four children, ages 17, 15, and 10, and 3 months at the time. I was on maternity leave. I moved out here because I was going through some things. My child's father ended up in jail. And I came out here with exactly $80 in my pocket. I already had used up my maternity money. So my mom was like, come out here, start fresh, can help it. It was a rough start when we first got out here. Now, when I left New York, I was making $12 an hour. I was working in early childhood, and I did have a degree in office administration. When I moved out here, it took me 1 month to find a place. It wasn't the best of places, but it was ours. It took me a month to find a job. The first job that I found was paying me $8. So when you have four kids to take care of, I had an option of staying on welfare or taking the $8. I took the $8 because that's gonna bring me in more income. Um, so I was making $8 an hour on maternity leave. I ended up quitting that job because the place was just toxic. I worked there for a few weeks, and then she ended up calling me back. Although I quit, she knew I was a good teacher, so I ended up going back, and I quit a second time after a few months, and that was it. But before I quit, I already had found another job. But now I went to that job. She asked me, so what you looking for? What's your hourly rate? I said, well, I'm gonna start off at $10 because it's a small daycare. She was like, no, can't pay 10. I said, how about 8? She said, no, how about 6? I put my head down. I was like, I'll take it. Because, again, I would rather take the $6 an hour because I got kids to take care of than taking welfare, which was only giving me $295 twice a month. So that's $600. That $600 already had to go to the rent because the rent was $495 for an efficiency apartment. So I took the $6. I wound up working that job for 10 years before I decided to leave. Now, although I had a degree in office administration, but I was working in the field of early childhood, I wound up going back to school and getting my bachelor's degree in early childhood administration, which gives me access to work as a teacher or as assistant director or even a director. So I worked as a teacher there, and I also worked as a assistant director. So when a teacher quit, I was put back in the classroom, and I told the director, the owner, if you put me back in the classroom, I'm going to leave. Because I did not want to go back into the classroom. He did it anyway. So I ended up going on my vacation. When I came back for a vacation, he really upset me because he was always trying to cut back on $1. I just came back off a lunch break, and he sent me home. And I was very upset about that. Okay, if that was the case, you could have just how you let me work to lunch, then send me home when I only have like an hour to go. What is $12 gonna make a difference? How much of a $12 difference gonna make if I just stay here to my regular time? So I started putting in for applications for jobs. I said, enough is enough. You already put me back in the classroom when I didn't want to. You don't want to pay me past $12 when I got a bachelor's degree. And then you're going to shortchange me when I am the one that helped build this center up. So I just started putting my application. Less than a week, I started getting callbacks. I didn't even get my 2 weeks notice. People just knew that I was looking for a job. I told the new director, that I was looking for a job. But I didn't know, I didn't even have time to put in my 2 weeks notice because they called me for an interview. Let's just say they called me for an interview on Wednesday. I started Friday. So it took me a long time. I didn't know a long time to leave that job because I was so fearful of starting over, and I think it stemmed from not having stability in my life as a young child. So I tend to stay places long because I had a fearful of leaving. So I finally left that job after 10 years, and my income went up. When the first job that I got after leaving, it went up to $15. I was working as a contractor. doing agency. And then their job hired me and I went up to $17 an hour. So I don't have to accept anything less than 15 because I have 2 degrees. So I would never allow nobody to downplay my worth because I know my worth. So I put up an article because there's a lot of people out here living their life out of fear, even with this coronavirus. If you eat healthy and take care of yourself and follow the rules for protecting yourself, you're gonna be okay. But when you start living out of fear, you're gonna start making mistakes and make your own self sick and end up catching this virus. So let's go to the article and read the article. The title of the article is 10 Signs Fear is Running Your Life and How to Get Back on Track. Number 1, it says most people in our culture are so riddled with fear they don't even recognize when the emotion has overtaken their lives. Fear can be sneaky and it shows up in all kinds of disguises. Here are 10 ways to recognize how fear is running your life and take back your control. Number 1, you find yourself striving in vain for impossible to achieve standards of perfection. When you are afraid of criticism, failure, or rejection, you'll do anything to try to become perfect. Of course, the mask of perfection also separates you from what you most want. Real intimacy, love, and acceptance for your true self. Number 2, you settle for less than your dreams. When you are afraid to take risks and go for what you really want, you convince yourself that your less than juicy life is as good as it gets. And when fear runs the show, you forget how to dream. You compromise in the name of being realistic, but settling isn't real. It's a devastating symptoms of fear when you settle. Number 3, you say yes when you mean no. A lot of people do that. A lot of people too scared to say no. When you're afraid to disappoint people or get rejected, if you don't say yes, you'll fall into fear-based, people-pleasing, self-sacrificing behaviors that lead to resentment. But when fear is no longer running the show, you say no when it feels self-loving. Number 4, you say no when you mean yes. When you're afraid, you are unlikely to take risks. You feel the yearning to start your own business, take the bucket list trip, have a baby, or take an art class, but you say no because you're afraid to fail, afraid to succeed, afraid to get rejected, afraid to stir things up, afraid to get out of your comfort zone. Number 5, you numb yourself with food, alcohol, technology, and excessive busyness. Fear causes inner pain, which we desperately try to numb with substances and behaviors. But these only put a temporary band-aid on the pain and ultimately decrease our self-esteem in the long run. When you're not afraid to be quiet with yourself, face your inner demons, and heal from the core, you no longer need the distractions. You have the courage to do the transformation work that leads you to freedom on the other side of your journey. Number 6, you procrastinate a lot. When you're afraid of putting yourself in an arena because of fear of failure, success, uncertainty, judgment, criticism, or rejection, you tend to stand on the sidelines where you feel safer. When you face fear head-on, motivation replaces procrastinations. You're not going for it based on a fear-based need to make it happen. Instead, the natural inclination to a love and service generates inspired actions. Number 7, you struggle to make decisions. When you are afraid, you avoid making decisions your soul knows you must make. You avoid making decisions your soul knows you must make. Your intuition tells you it's time to leave that toxic relationship or quit that soul-sucking job or set boundaries with your mother, but you're terrified of the uncertainty. What you'll discover on the other side of fear, though, is that uncertainty is the gateway to possibility. When you don't know what the future holds, anything can happen. You're a control freak. When we are afraid, we feel the need to micromanage everything. I had a boss like that. You mistakenly think you live in a hostile random world that's out to get you unless you grab the wheel with both hands and steer your life toward what you want. When you make the journey from fear to faith, you trust that it is a friendly universe and you can surrender to the flow of life and accept what it is. Number 9, you muzzle yourself. When fear is running the show, your voice speaking up for what you believe. You won't let your voice be heard when your integrity is being threatened. You won't tell people when they hurt your feelings. You be too afraid to ask for what you really want. When you let love lead, you start respecting and appreciate the divine voice that flows through you. As a result, you attract those who resonate with your truth and find your soul community. And number 10, you get sick. Fear isn't just an uncomfortable motion that holds you back from following your dream. It is also a trigger. It can also trigger a stress response in the body that puts you at risk of disease and make it hard for the body to heal yourself. So how do you move past fear? When you develop the right relationship with fear and uncertainty, fear can be the finger pointing toward everything in need of healing in your life. And here are a few ways you can change your relationship with fear right now. Number 1, focus on what you appreciate. Meditate. Question your belief. Trust the universe. Find your soul tribe. And this article was written by, hold on, let me give credit where credit is due. This article was written by Lisa Rankin, physician at New York Times, she's a physician and New York Times best-selling author. Her name is Lisa Rankin, an MD, and this is taken up mindbodygreen.com.